The increasing prevalence of violent behavior portrayed in movies normalizes and justifies violence while desensitizing children to its effects. Today, we'll show you the research behind desensitization, talk about media theories that contribute to this problem, and show real-life examples from people who have experienced the effects of desensitization of violence in movies.
In the 1993 report, Big World, Small Screen, The Role of Television in American Society, we learned that the accumulated research clearly demonstrates a correlation between the viewing violence and aggressive behavior. Children and adults who watch a large number of aggressive programs also tend to hold attitudes and values that favor the use of violence.
In Converging Media, a new introduction to mass communication, Pavlik and McIntosh cited a research report from 2014 by the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. This research confirmed that the levels of violence continue to be high in American television programming. Violence is common across a swath of program genres, including those aimed at children, who are the most likely to be influenced by the depictions they see.
We interviewed Sarah Coyne, a professor in the Department of Family Life, who has spent years studying the effects of violent movies on children. Here's what she had to say about her findings.
Movies are a big part of childhood, teenage media. They can be fairly impactful. Movies are only about 2 hours long, and so, you can watch a movie and move on with your life and it has little impact. Sometimes, though, we get obsessed with certain movies, so like the superhero franchise, I think, is one that's really had an impact, right? So you may just watch the movie once, but we have a whole generation of boys who love Spider-Man, dress up as Spider-Man, want to be Spider-Man.
Edith?
And it lasts till teenage adulthood. Like I said, a ton of students love Spider-Man, want to be Spider-Man, and so on. And so it really depends on the movie. I think they can have a great impact, depending on how much you buy into it.
Dave Grossman and Gloria DeGatineau state in their book, Stop Teaching Our Kids to Kill, quote, "Perhaps the most direct effect that screen violence has on children is that it makes them more aggressive, both in behavior and in attitude. It's just that simple. As television content becomes more violent, so do our children."
When my kids watch movies with a lot of violence in them, like Marvel movies or Avengers movies, they tend to be more aggressive. They tend to play fight more, even be more aggressive with me. Like my little one will be like Hulk smash and jump on me. One of my boys attacked a stranger in a convenience store after he watched Captain America Winter Soldier, which is a little embarrassing.
Okay, one time when I was like 3, I watched Captain America the Winter Soldier, and so I was 3, and I saw that. And after that, I was in a random store, and so I just saw a random old guy, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, buddy." So I just ran up and started punching him. I don't know why. I guess I was super energetic and pretended to be like Captain America. What am I, a superhero?
In class, we learned about the impact of cultivation analysis theory, which argues that television cultivates in audiences a view of reality similar to the world portrayed in TV programs. Movies are powerful instruments of socialization, especially for children, and the more viewers are exposed to violence, the more they see it as commonplace and are consequently desensitized to it.
Framing in media is how a subject matter is presented. Today in media, violence as a subject matter is framed in a very positive light with little to no consequences. In many cases, violence in the real world has very serious and lasting consequences that can last for months to somebody's entire life. In media, however, people view violence in many cases as having very little consequences. Punching somebody in the face has very little lasting consequences, whereas in real life, if you punch somebody, you can break bones, you can break teeth, and have very serious consequences for that person, which can damage them for a long time. Media, however, portrays this as having very little consequences, which is incorrect.
There are many problems with having children see so many violent acts in the media. And one of those is becoming desensitized. And there's many ways to be desensitized for things, but one of the things that I think is interesting is how quickly we become desensitized to the fact that there's human collateral. And I think that that's pretty dangerous to teach kids that there's human collateral that doesn't matter.
There are a lot of actions that we can take as individuals to combat the desensitization of violence in movies. We can talk with movie studios, politicians, video rental companies, and theaters and fight for a better rating system, less violence in movies, and tell them why it matters. Most importantly, we can become more conscientious consumers and become more media literate. Once we do so, we can teach these same principles to our children. When we interviewed Professor Coyne, she shared great insights about what she has learned about being a parent and raising media literate children.
The best thing that you can do right now is to learn how to be an active consumer of media. So often we're watch media in passive mode, so we're like glazed and we just watch it and enjoy it and we don't think about it, right? So I teach a similar class to Dr. Zurcher's, like media effects on children and families. And the biggest aim of the class is to help my students become active, become thoughtful about why am I choosing to watch this, right? So we all have reasons why. Uses and gratifications, I'm sure you learned about it, right? And then what's the impact on me and those around me? And just being thoughtful and aware, I think, is the very best thing that an individual your age can do. And you'll teach that to your children, right? And that will become kind of a theme. Because media has a power. It has such a power, right? Power for good, power for bad. Depends on how we harness it.